I'm Jake Billingsley, and I want to welcome you to Fort Worth, Texas, home of the Texas Trail of Fame. It's a celebration of the men and women of the past and present who embody the spirit of the Western tradition. Today, our spotlight is on rodeo legend Cleo Hearn. Hearn, known as Mr. Black Rodeo in cowboy circles, is the driving force behind the Cowboys of Color Invitational Rodeo Tour, which honors the minority cowboys of the past and showcases the talents of those today. He was the first African American to win the calf roping event at a major rodeo in 1970. He was also the first African American to go to college on a rodeo scholarship. Throughout his career, Hearn has won many ribbons, trophies, buckles, saddles, and thousands in cash and prizes. Hearn became a member of the Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association in 1959, competing as a calf roper. He put on his first black rodeo in Harlem in 1971 for 10,000 children. But perhaps Hearn's greatest contribution is the awareness he's created for the forgotten cowboys, such as Bill Pickett here.
You're going to talk about bulldogging, you got to talk about the originator of bulldogging, and that's Bill Pickett. Now, he bulldogged steers different than what we do. We call it steer wrestling today. He bulldogged. What had happened, he would jump off on the steer, grab the steer, bite him on the lip, then throw him down, or the steer's lip is the most tender part of a steer. Now today, hey buddy, we're not going to do that. We're going to take our hands and go like this. We're going to grab him by the nose and throw him with our arms. We use upper body strength. And you know the amazing thing about that? Actually, that was an accident that he originated that. I wasn't there, but they tell me a steer got out into the crowd and he didn't have a rope. So he just jumped his horse off and jumped off on the steer, turned him around, beat him, threw him down, and they come about the rope. So some things don't happen, we don't plan. Some of the best things in life we don't plan. You know, when I was about 5 years old, nobody knows where this love of cowboy and horses came from because my family, they're educators. I am different from everybody in my family. And people ask me a lot of times, well, how long have you been a black cowboy? Well, the first thing I do is laugh, and I said, well, I've been a cowboy ever since I was about 5 years old, but you know what? I've been black all my life. And people start laughing about that, but it's just a way of life for me. They say, where did it come from? Well, it came from the love of horses. And if you would look around today, most of the cowboys today are, if they're African Americans, they come from the city. Let me tell you something. When I was little, I didn't have a horse. I had a stick horse. And I'll guarantee you, all the time, I was trying to figure out how to rope. There's so many things that I learned about roping and riding horses that I picked up just looking. Well, it was more cowboys, ropers, not black cowboys, that could help me. And there's always somebody that wants to help you if you show that you're interested. Well, they picked up on it, and I never had a horse till I was 18 or 19 years old. But I always had horses to ride. It wasn't until I got to college where I really started seeing these cowboys, really learning about how to be a rodeo cowboy. Now, people call me a cowboy, but I'm not a cowboy. I'm a rodeo cowboy. When you talk about a real cowboy, that's a person that every day he wakes up in the morning, he goes out, works the cattle, feeds them, does everything necessary. Every morning I wake up, I want to go rope a calf, a bulldog, a steer, or something like that. So when I say every day I wake up, I want to be a cowboy, I want to be a calf roper. The theme of the rodeo today is, let us educate you while we entertain you. Let us tell you the things that blacks, Hispanics, and Indians did for the settling of the West that many history books left out. I always like to have an example behind that. The example is, everybody knows that Columbus discovered America. Very, very few people know that a black Spaniard named Estevanico discovered Texas and New Mexico. That the city of Chicago was founded by a black man. It's my responsibility to let people know that, hey, we played a very prominent part in the selling of the West. You know, I'm very fortunate that people here in Fort Worth really realize that, because right out in the front of the Coliseum here is a statue of Bill Pickett, bulldog and steer. Let me tell you, Magic Johnson said this. I heard he said it. Said the most athletic move that he'd ever seen was a cowboy stepping off a horse going 25 or 30 miles an hour and being in sync and able to run down that rope. I begin to look at that, and I begin to look at players, basketball players. I see basketball players doing marvelous things. You see football players doing marvelous things, baseball players doing, but I'll guarantee you, from experience, getting off a horse going 25, 30 miles an hour and being in rhythm, going down that rope, that is a very athletic move. And I'm proud that I can do it. And you know, used to do it better than I can do it now. Well, they talk about the Walk of Fame in California. Well, I tell you what, I'm pretty proud. You go out there to that Bill Pickett statue, and there's a little momentum in the concrete out there that says Cleo Hearn, cowboy. That was one of the biggest days of my life. You know, everybody's walking over. My grandkids came over and looked, and they said, "Oh, there's picture, there's Pawpaw there." Man, that's as good as it can get. I've never woke up a day in my life when I didn't want to be a cowboy. So this is part of my life. This is not something I dreamed of yesterday. This is a dream that I've had all of my life.
If you would like to know more about the men and women from today's journey, you can go online to the Texas Trail of Fame's website at www.texastrailoffame.org. There you can read articles and find research materials on all the recipients and members of the Texas Trail of Fame.